Everyone, it's Linda McKenna from Golden Rule Senior Placement Services coming to you today with Tuesday Talks. Since this month, we have a lot of observances rather. We are going to be featuring this talk on it being long-term planning month. And what is it about long-term planning? Well, what is long-term care planning? Long-term care is a non-medical referring to the personal care and services required mostly by our senior loved ones to sustain a quality of life. So a lot of people don't differentiate like long-term care facilities. I just had a conversation with a client today. They think every facility is a nursing home, which is a nursing rehab facility. Yes, they do have long-term care beds there that you stay there for your quality of life after rehab. But also long-term care is provided in assisted living as well too, memory care. The very reason is because care is given to you there at those facilities, depending on their licensure as well too, or ancillary services comes into the community or the home. So with all that being said, I mean, a lot of the times it could go through to hospice and to end of life. So understand what really long-term care is a very specific component to understand before we have a conversation. Long-term planning month takes place in October. The month creates awareness among senior citizens and their caretakers to understand and prepare for the outrageous cost of healthcare for adults. Unfortunately, this is not something that people plan for, and many are unaware that the most insurance plans do not cover long-term, non-medical care and assistance for senior citizens and their daily activities. Those are called ADLs, activities of daily living, eating, grooming, bathing, ambulating, transferring. All of those are activities that we take for granted for daily living. So with it being said, what that just produced as a thought process is caretaking. So if you have a daughter that lives at home with their mother and father, she becomes the caretaker. Unfortunately, insurance doesn't pay her a stipend or a salary to take care of the mother or father, nor does the health insurance pays for that. There is two types of home care or home health care. There is health insurance that provides skilled care, and then there is non-medical care, which is more custodial and companionship, is home care coming in. All this staff is trained, licensed, bonded, and insured. When people say, I need a caregiver to come to my mother's home and this is what I'm willing to pay an hour, it is best to go through an agency by all means before you hire somebody off the street, because quite honestly, there's a safety and a liability issue as well too. Then there's long-term care policies that some take out with their place of work, and the long-term care policies pays for care. A lot of home care agencies, meaning the ones that are custodian companionship, they can tap into those insurance policies, as does some assisted living facilities or care homes or residential ALFs, that the care component is what is now paid for to the assisted living for your loved one. So that's something to look into. There's Genworth Financial, there's New York Life. A lot of people don't even know that they have a policy, and it's for an extended period of time or a price per month. But if you don't use it, unfortunately, you use it. It doesn't get rolled over to another individual. So it's something that you want to know what kind of coverage that you do have, and who takes those kinds of components as well too. Long-term care plans have existed since the 1970s, the late 70s, but it wasn't until the early 1990s that the concept caught on, even though they weren't many insurance companies offering many options to long-term care insurance. Long-term care is non-medical, referring to the personal care and services required by the elderly for accomplishing routine activities to have a quality of life, which is activities of daily living. Services include personal grooming, dressing, bathing, eating, and other physical activities. accommodation is also part of the long-term care that may or may not include the aid of skilled nurses. Okay, long-term care planning month. Frequently asked questions. When should I start planning for long-term care? It's never too early. Sometimes if you start earlier, the monthly amount that you pay towards your policy is much less. The older that you are, just like life insurance policies, they become, greater each month. But experts recommend that customers begin planning for long-term well in advance, years before that they will actually need it. Ideally, the average age bracket is 40 to 50 years old. What is long-term planning? Long-term care is non-medical, referring to the personal care and services required, like we discussed before, and accommodating routine activities to have a normal quality of life. What are the three main types of long-term care facilities? Long-term care facilities, just as I mentioned earlier, provides assistance and care for skilled nursing, which is rehab facilities, assisted living, and independent living facilities. But in that assisted living also is a nugget of information, because assisted living also could be small residential homes, assisted living, care homes, adult family care homes, and also memory care communities as well too. 5 facts about long-term care planning you should know. You are likely to need it. Wait till you hear this. An estimated 8.3 million people live in the U.S. require some form of long-term care. 2, Medicare and Medicaid are not enough. They've limited periods of covering hospice care, home health care services, and stays at nursing facilities. Absolutely. Medicare is Medicare. It's not a replacement. There are certain criteria to go to a skilled nursing facility. And if you reach maximum improvement, unfortunately, you do have to leave. But also hospice care also, there is a certain period to be on it. There's palliative care and there's end of life. So there's certain criteria. And of course that is paid by by Medicare. And home health care services is intermittent. I did home health for many years, working with a lot of individuals, and home health care services that come to your home with skilled care. They also come to assisted living facilities as well. It's skilled nursing, PT, aides as well too. But it's short period of time, hour at most, intervals at your place where you're getting maybe therapy or nursing services. But it's intermittent, meaning that short period of time, but also it's not for a long period of time, of months or forever. It's an increased demand. Aging baby boomers, which we all are, will impact long-term care services in the next 2 decades. Because why? We're getting older and we're going to be needing those services real soon. The younger you start, the better. Long-term care insurance will greatly ease the financial burden on you and your family. So if you start early, that means that you have a lower rate each month versus as you get older. 5, you may need to liquidate your assets. Generally, to be eligible for Medicaid, an individual needs to have only $2,000 in countable assets. It's raised a little bit because of the cost of living, but there is certain criteria. That's something maybe when you're applying for Medicaid is to have a conversation with an attorney that does elder law and Medicaid planning to talk about liquid assets, and so you are not being taken advantage of and you preserve income as well. But here's the thing also, if one of the spouses is going in to an assisted living and is requiring certain amount of money to cover them each day, guess what? That person is still living at home. The other spouse is living at home, and they still have to sustain themselves as well too. So that's why going to an attorney to discuss long-term care planning is something that's very, very, very important, along maybe with your wealth management, along with your CPA as well too. Why long-term care planning month is important. 1, it gives us a head start. Long-term care planning month gives us a head start to plan for the upcoming caretaking costs in the future. It is important to be prepared, otherwise the financial cost can be extremely difficult to maintain. 2, it ensures better care for seniors. Investing in long-term care insurance plans is not only better for financial stability, it also ensures that senior citizens get the care and due diligence that they need and deserve by all means. 3, the month creates awareness. Long-term care planning month creates awareness, adults and senior citizens, and encourages them to look into long-term care plans. There are many packages available, and the month-long observance serves as a way to inform and educate people about this. And also, this is a time that when families should get together and having a real deep discussion about the future of affordability and long-term care planning. How should we observe long-term care planning month? Well, visit a family member and make a plan. And just as we're discussing, it takes a village to make this happen, but also making your family aware what policies you do have, what monies that you do have, and how long is that you're gonna be able to sustain yourself, maybe living in a senior living community. So gathering all this information and needs and picking a savings plan or a plan is best suited when you do it as a family unit. 2, explore options and discover what is available for you. Discover the long-term care plans available. Take advice from experts, see which plans align with your family's needs, and start as soon as possible. I work with a couple of wonderful representation of people that sell long-term care policies, and they are so insightful and meet with families at their home and discuss a whole litany of information along with tapping into the attorney as well too. So, you don't know it until you look into it and explore all your options, and doing it with a very expert and compassionate person at the same time. 3, use long-term care planning month hashtags. If we use that in our social media, it makes everybody else aware of what's going on. I am a firm believer is planning ahead. There was a couple of memes years and years ago. Planning ahead with the D falling off is like, oh boy, before we fall off the cliff, let's plan ahead. So planning ahead is so important in every area of our life. When we are, getting married, we plan for it. We having children, we plan for it. A new house, we plan for it. We purchase a new car, we plan for it. We're investigating all these things, and we plan for the future. I know when we had our children, we planned for their future and for education early on. We bought a policy for their education really early on. So doing this in depth work is something that you've done all along. Why not for your last chapter of life that you should be prepared for the care that you not only work so hard for, but that you deserve. So long-term care planning is something that we naturally do, or for other events. Why not do it for our future as well too, as we get older. This month is pretty special. It's our birthday month for my husband and I. And actually next Tuesday, which is October 21st, is actually my birthday. Won't say what year. But also my husband is 2 days prior to me. We're almost born the same day. And this topic that we're going to actually talk about is physical therapy month. I am a firm believer why it is so important to engage in physical therapy, no matter what age you are, what condition you are in, is actually moving. If you don't use it, you lose it in this case as well. The topic is, as the weather cools in the fall, it's tempted to be less physically active. October is the perfect time to focus on healthy self-care with celebrating physical therapy month. Physical therapy is not just for injury recovery. It benefits all, include injury and illness prevention, being proactive. So PT, I know some really good ones as well too, and honestly, I utilize them for not only for personal use with my own family members, but also for a lot of my clients as well. So we'll talk about that. It'll be my birthday, so we could celebrate it together. And as always, I wish you a blessed week, and I will see you next week. And have a blessed one. And don't forget to go to my website if you need to get in touch with me with all my demographics. It is is there. It's www.goldenruleseniorplacement.com. You will find my bio. You will find our mission statement. You will find testimonials. You'll find various options, resources, and a whole library of all these video talks on all different subject matters. So be sure to view it. And then next month, we're going to have a little contest because it's our 8th year anniversary in business. So again, till next week, have a blessed one. And thank you for viewing Golden Rule Tuesday Talks. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now.